In the stifling heat of an Irish summer, a sense of foreboding broods over a peaceful village. Nestled in the west of Ireland, this quaint hamlet is a canvas of tranquility, a picture-perfect postcard of pastoral charm. Its quiet allure once drew in a former detective from the bustling streets of Chicago, Cal Hooper. Seeking solace and simplicity, he chose this village as his sanctuary. But as the old adage goes, all that glitters is not gold. The peace of this tranquil hamlet was about to be shattered. Two foreign shadows descended upon the village, their intentions shrouded in mystery. The first, a towering figure with eyes as sharp as a hawk, exuded an air of danger. The second, a young man, seemed nervous, restless, like a fish out of water. The village hummed with speculation, the rumor mill churning out whispers of hidden gold. Unthinkable riches, they said, lay buried beneath the townland. As a retired detective, Cal had seen enough to know that where there's gold, there's usually trouble. It was an all-too-familiar scent that brought back memories of his past life in the Windy City. Enter Trey, a fiery redhead with a spirit as wild as the Irish winds. She was a native of the village, her eyes brimming with disdain for the strangers. When Cal learned that one of these gold seekers was Trey's estranged father, his peace was truly interrupted. With this revelation, Cal found himself in a predicament. He was torn between protecting Trey or letting her choose her own path. As secrets started to unravel and alliances began to form, the tranquility of the village stood on the brink of ruin. The stakes were rising, and the villagers, once content in their peaceful existence, were now on the edge. It was a tale of love, loyalty, revenge, and redemption, all converging in this once peaceful village. With his resolve shaken and his soul put to the test, Cal stood on the precipice. The final chapter of his Irish adventure was about to be written. As a retired detective, the smell of money often brought trouble to his nose. Then there was Trey, young, wild, free. Her disdain for these strangers was clear in her eyes. Our fiery redhead Trey was no stranger to the village, yet she was a mystery in her own right. Her spirit was as untamed as the winds that swept across the Irish landscapes, and her eyes held a defiance that was almost infectious. The strangers that had intruded upon their peaceful life were not just strangers to Trey. One of them, the nervous, restless one, was her estranged father. The revelation was a shockwave that rippled through the village, leaving behind a trail of whispers and hushed conversations. Our retired detective, Cal Hooper, found himself in an unexpected predicament. His instincts urged him to protect Trey, to shield her from the potential harm her father and his companion might bring. Yet he also knew that Trey was not a damsel in distress. She was a force of nature, capable of making her own decisions, charting her own path. This was the crossroads where Cal found himself. A tangled web of loyalty pulled at his heartstrings, leaving him torn between protecting Trey and letting her choose her path. He was caught in a whirlpool of emotions, his sense of duty clashing with his respect for Trey's independence. As the days passed, the tension in the village grew palpable. The once tranquil life was now a distant memory, replaced by a sense of unease that hung heavy in the air. The village was on the brink of a change, a shift that could either bring them together or tear them apart. And amidst all this, Cal Hooper was at the center, his loyalties tested, his peace disturbed. The retired detective from Chicago was now embroiled in a mystery that was far removed from the city's hustle and bustle. His Irish adventure had taken a sudden turn, thrusting him into a scenario he hadn't anticipated. A tangled web of loyalty pulled at Cal's heartstrings, leaving him torn between protecting Trey and letting her choose her path. This was the dilemma that lay ahead of Cal Hooper, and as the village held its breath, waiting, the next chapter of this intriguing story was about to unfold. Secrets started to unravel, alliances formed, and the tranquility of the village threatened to shatter. Whispers became loud conversations, eyes met across rooms with shared understanding, and the once peaceful village was now a chessboard of strategy and cunning. The air was thick, not just with the summer heat, but with the palpable tension of a mystery unfolding. The villagers, once content with their quiet lives, were now players in a game they didn't fully understand. The stakes were high, the danger real. The shadows of the outsiders loomed large, casting a pall of uncertainty over their once serene existence. The line between friend and foe blurred as alliances formed out of necessity rather than choice. Trust was a luxury, suspicion, the currency. The village, once a haven of peace, was now a battlefield of wits and nerve. As the stakes heightened and darker shadows loomed, the villagers were on the edge. The once tranquil village was now teetering on the brink of a precipice, the fall unknown. with his soul tested and his resolve shaken, the final chapter of Cal's Irish adventure was about to be written. The once tranquil village now stood on the precipice of chaos, its serenity threatened by the promise of hidden gold and the arrival of unwelcome strangers. Tensions ran high as secrets were unearthed and alliances were forged. The village was no longer just a peaceful sanctuary for Cal. It had transformed into a battlefield of conflicting loyalties. The stakes were high and the danger was real. As the villagers held their collective breath, anticipation hung heavy in the air. The question on everyone's mind: who would emerge as the victorious hunter in this high-stakes game of cat and mouse? In the end, it was a test of true character. A battle not just for gold, but for truth, loyalty, and redemption. As the final chapter unfolded, the village and its inhabitants braced themselves for the impending storm. And the village held its breath, waiting. For in the darkness, where gold becomes a luring beacon, only the truest of hunters come victorious.